Hi everyone. Today's lesson is about gradient value. Now, value, we know what that word means, and that is when you're using black and white mediums like paint or pencil, and you're just using black and white. It is the value where black is the darkest value and white is the lightest value. Gradient means a gradual shift. So if we were to go like dark to white, so if black is over here, white is over here, we try to gradually mix in a little bit more white with our black, continuously until we get to white. We can do this in pencil, and that's what this lesson is all about. So in years past, we have talked about, if I were to go like this, maybe make some hatch marks, like this might be like one value. And then if I cross it, making a crosshatch, this value gets darker. I cross again, this value gets darker. Again, and again. If I keep on adding piles of value onto the same spot, it's going to get darker and darker. What I want to do for gradient value is to start with as dark as I can and then gradually go as light as I can. So with a pencil, I'm going to start going, I'm pressing pretty hard. And then without picking up my pencil, I am gradually changing the pressure in my hand and picking up the pencil a little bit off of the page, but I'm continuously going. And there we go. That whole time I didn't pick my pencil up, and I kept moving it. Now, this is a really good example of gradient value. Can I change it so that it's like I have my my darker value a little bit, I keep it darker for a little bit longer? Absolutely. And all of us, like if we were all in the same room right now doing this lesson, all of our papers would look different. And it's because just like we have different handwritings, we have different understandings of pressure on the page, and that is okay. So I don't ever want you to think like, well, I didn't get mine exactly like Miss Amy's. I don't want you to. Now, I'm gonna, right now I'm just using my trusty Ticonderoga. I have another pencil. This is called an ebony pencil. It's used a lot in art where the graphite is a little bit darker right out of the gate. And it kind of gets me, my darkest darks are a little bit more intense. But, I'm just showing you this, like, you can, there are different kinds of pencils where the graphite is a little bit, it's just a little bit darker. Like I can get, like when I get to here, it's still not as light as right there. I'm going to show you one more example with a woodless pencil. Sometimes you just saw how I kind of shifted with my hands this pencil. Sometimes when I'm working, I will have my hand over my pencil. If I'm like this, which I am like most times when I draw actually, I'm kind of limited, but if I'm like all of like my wrist is tense, my elbow is tense, and I can really only go like this. But if my hand is over it, now I can move my whole hand. And I'm not suggesting that you make a gradient value, this big. But first of all, it helps with my pencil not breaking. And some of you just might, if you're having some control issues, if this is weird, because this is like, I'm teaching you this, but it's really, I'm just showing you. I can't, this is something that you have to kind of do on your own, to kind of practice to see what this feels like. I've been a drawer for a really long time, so this comes a little bit more easy for me right now because I'm a grown-up. When I was a kid, this took me a little bit. And so this lesson is designed to help you figure this part out in a cool and interesting way. We're going to do this work in our sketchbooks, but just for this example, I'm doing it on a loose sheet of paper. The beginning steps of this lesson are going to be very familiar to you guys, where we're going to start with, a lot of times when I'm doing a drawing, especially if it's abstract, I will make a box just because it kind of helps me contain it. It contains my image, and I don't have to worry about my line going all the way to the edge. Because, you know, if I'm drawing and I want my line to go to the edge, even if I'm trying to stop myself from doing this, when I get to the edge, I might just kind of tense up my body and not want my pencil to like go off the paper, you know, because then I don't want my paper to get bent or for it to look weird. So a lot of times when I'm doing a drawing, I'll make a box and then I can go right to the edge, but I still have a little bit of margin to play with. If I really like this drawing when I'm all done, I can cut this out and I can sort of trim it in here, just like you would like on a computer. You can like physically cut the page. So why this is going to be familiar is we're going to start this by doing what we do best, taking a line for a walk. And as I do this, I do want intersections, unlike our last drawing sketchbook lesson. I want intersections here, and I want the size of my shapes that I'm making with these intersections to be varied. Some of them I want small, and some of them I want really big. There. Now I brought this page back into the frame because I wanted to show you that with each of these shapes, we are going to add gradient value. And you know, we're going to work part to part. Like each section, we're going to work completely, where we want to have in each shape a gradient value that starts from here and ends here. Where you start and end it doesn't matter within the shape. Oftentimes in a shape, like if I start in this one, I find it easiest for me to start in a corner rather than like right, you know, like right on the edge. I don't know why. There's not a wrong or right place to stop or to start, I mean. But so like within here, I am coming up with my system where I am putting a lot of pressure on my pencil at the beginning, and then I'm slowly easing up on the pressure until I get over to here where I want the light of the page. Now, I'm kind of being a little weird about this, you know, probably because I'm doing it, you know, for this video, but you kind of see how I did it. It's not as like smooth as this one, but that's okay because I can always go back. If I don't like seeing all my pencil lines, I can kind of, you know, think back to cross hatching, and I can kind of think of this as sections, sort of giving a second layer. And then when I get to the final bit, I'm not going to add a second layer like right over here, because I feel like I kind of went a little dark at that last corner. But there is a whole shape that has gradient value. Now, if I go to this one right here, I think I'm actually going to start right here. And I'm trying to get a full gradient value range in each shape. That looks pretty good. Now, sometimes when I'm doing this, I might change out like how I'm drawing. Like a lot of times I sort of go up and down like this, but I'm gonna try one where I'm kind of go in like really narrow ovals. And it might help make my transition just a little bit smoother. And I think that looks, I like that. I mean, already this looks super cool, right? You know, am I crushing it each and every shape? No. But I can, you know, I can go back and I can try to fix it. And there are sometimes when I'm working on something like this where I just think, well, this shape, it doesn't really look good. I don't feel like you know, it's not like nice and smooth, but you know, maybe when it's up against some other ones, it'll look pretty cool. A lot of times when I'm doing this, I will, I'll kind of, like I started here, darkest to light. So then at this corner, I'll start darkest to light so that there's like a nice little overlap. You know, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of shapes. Like I did this, like I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I work on this whole page, I'm probably looking at like a couple hours, you know, maybe a little bit longer. If it takes you less than an hour to do this page, that means that you're not doing you're rushing it a little bit. And the beauty of doing this in a sketchbook is that we can take our time. We can go back. We can stop for a little bit. We can start the next day. It's just a really nice part of the sketchbook drawing experience. So here's the piece I did in my sketchbook, and I'm gonna try to pull it up a little bit because my lights are kind of reflecting off of the graphite. But this looks pretty cool. And you know, I mean, thinking back on this, like, I think I would have wanted to make my some of my shapes a little bit more intricate, a little smaller, so I'd have more to do. But you know, to me, this is a really beautiful way to spend some free time, just, you know, drawing, maybe listening to music. You know, it's one of my favorite things. Now, I did 2 more ones in here. They're smaller, but I did this one to try to have it where I just did straight lines. I did a bunch going this way and a bunch going this way. And I think there's something really great about that. This one I started making more of like a recognizable image. I started making some flower shapes, and then I played around with the background. I kind of made it a spiral. But I just, you know, I really like this. Whether you're drawing, like if you do drawings that are this small, I need you to do a few of them, like, or at least a couple of them. This is the size I'm looking for, a full page. If you really want to, I highly encourage you to do both pages. These are small sketchbooks. I mean, look at this, right? It's smaller than this one page. So I think that you should have a lot of fun with this. And if one doesn't work out, do another one. You know, that's the beauty of drawing. You can always do more.